Greeting, my Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters. This is L.D. Smith, the Watchman on the wall. As always, grab your King James. We have a fantastic one tonight. First and foremost, we want to wish all of our sisters and brothers a happy Sabbath. That being said, let us go forward here into our teaching tonight. We're going to be coming from the book of Acts, the 17th chapter, verses 6. But we're going to be mainly talking about how Christianity, through the eyes of Christianity, turns God's word upside down. Christianity teaches you to do the opposite of what God says. All right. Now we're going to prove that here. Look at verses 6 here in chapter 17 in the book of Acts. It says, whom Jason has received. Well, let's look at verses 6. It says, and when they found them not, they drew Jason and certain brethren unto the rulers of the city, crying, these that have turned the world upside down are come hither also. Now, that being said, look what he says here. He says that these, the ones that are spreading this propaganda about Jesus Christ, they have turned the city, they have turned the world upside down. And that is what Christianity does to anyone. It makes you blind. It makes you not able to see the truth for what it really is. It distorts everything that God says. Now, to prove that, you all know someone whose life probably have been looking like it was jacked up, being all disfigured. Their life is spinning out of control, and they would always tell you, well, that's a devil in him or in her. God hates that individual, but that can be further from the truth. And tonight, I'm going to expose Lucifer, aka, for whatever he is, and he's nothing but a liar and a deceiver. And now, that being said, let us go to the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 37. Let us go there real quick. And we're gonna begin at verses 10. And we're going to read 10 and 11, all right? First, and then we'll do 18 and 19. Let's do 10 and 11. Joseph has had a dream here, and now he's talking with his father. He says, and he told it to his father and his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, what is this dream that thou hast dreamed? In other words, rebuke me. Whoa, stop, back up. What did you say? I'm keeping it real now. This is in our term. I'm keeping it black. What did you say? This is what he's saying. You mean to tell me that we gonna bow down to you? But look at verse 11 here. It says, and his brothers envied him, but his father did what? His father observed, His father observed the sayings. In other words, I wonder what that could be. But Joseph knew God, and he knew, Jacob knew God, and he knew how God operates. Now, that being said, let us go a little further. Let's look at 18 and 19. It says, when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. Let me say this right here first and foremost. Anybody can try to kill you, and they can pray for you. They can get insurance policies on you, thinking that they're going to recoup, some money, and whatnot. Look, they do not have any say-so over when you live, neither when you die. God is the one that is the giver of life, and he's the taker of life. All right? That being said, let us move forward here. And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh. In other words, we hate to see him coming. But God is playing a part in all this. God is orchestrating all the ones that is taking a part in this whole scenario here. God is orchestrating his brothers, and he's orchestrating Joseph. All right. Now, that being said, let us jump down to verse 24. It says, and they took him and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty. There was no water in it. All right. Let us jump on down here to verse 27. It says, come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hands be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh, and his brothers were content. All right, now they say, well, okay, let's make a little change off of it. In other words, like today's, they will put insurance policies, and then try to collect because they say, oh, he or she, they're out of control. We got to put some insurance on them. This is what people would do. But see here, they thought they have capitalized, they have made some money off of him, but yet still God is orchestrating the whole thing. And I'm going to prove it. Now, that being said, let us go to chapter 39 of Genesis chapter 39. It says, at verse 1, it says, and Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar's an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guards, and an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites. These here is Ishmael descendants, which had brought him down hither. And I know verse 2 says, and the Lord was with him. God just didn't get with him then. God was with him when they conspired against him. God was with him when they threw him in the hole. God was with him the moment they started hating him. God was always with Joseph. Always. Now, look what he says. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in the sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house and all that he had put into his hand. See, many times when people see a person's life, as they say, is all in disarray, they don't realize that it is God that is maneuvering and making all these adjustments and playing a part in all these different people's lives, to make his plan come to fruition. God's plan is going to come to fruition, whether it's a rough ride or whether it's a smooth ride. It doesn't make any difference. God is God, and it's going to be just like he said it. Now, let us move a little further. Let us go to verse 11. It says here, and it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by his garments, saying, lie with me. And he left his garments in her hands and fled and got him out. In other words, Joseph, he broke camp and he left. Now let's read verse 13. And it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garments in her hand and was fled forth. Now, let us jump down to verse 14. It says, that she called unto the men of her house and spake unto them, saying, see, he hath brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. Now, note what we said now in verse 2 of chapter 39. It says what? And the Lord was with Joseph. Right here. Even though she's lying on him, all these accusations is being made, God is still with Joseph. Nothing changed. Nothing changes. God is still in control. God is manipulating different people here and there, doing all these different things in order that his plan may come to fruition. Now, and that being said, we're going to jump a little further here. Let us go back and look at verses 7, 8, and 9. Over here in chapter 39. Let's go back and look at verses 7, 8, and 9. Look what it says. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, behold, my master wrote not what is with me in the house, and he has committed all that he has into my hand. Now look, Joseph is trying to do the right thing. Joseph wants to do the right thing. But God is orchestrating everything. See, you can try to do right. You can want to do right. But God still will make it wrong. My sister and brother, you have to see it for what it is. God is not with him some of the time. God is with him all the time. And God is the one that's orchestrating everything. Here Joseph is trying all he can not to get in trouble. But yet and still, he gets in trouble and God is with him. But Christianity, today's Christianity teaches you, his or her life is all messed up. And all these so-called Christians, these people, they will run you down to the ground. They will run you down to the ground and say, God hates you. And the whole time, God is manipulating different people, doing different things in order to get you in position to do his will. It's not that God did not love Joseph. God loved Joseph. And all these things are transpired in his life. Now let's look at verse 9 here in chapter 39. It says, this is Joseph still talking. He said, there's none greater in this house than I. Neither has he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Here he is trying to do the right thing, wanting to do the right thing. And God is right there with him, orchestrating the whole thing. Now, that being said, let us go here. Let's look at Genesis 41. I'm going to close it out here on Genesis 41. Let's look at Genesis 41. Look what it says in 41:38. It says, and Pharaoh said unto his servant, can we find such a one as this is a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. My brothers and sisters, some of you all out there, I know life have been jacked up, messed up, and you tried to figure out, why is my life like this? Every time you try to do something right, it turns out wrong. Every time you try to get an apple, you come up with a lemon or a lime. My sisters and brothers, I know that there are a lot of you out there that this is happening to, but God, if you're Hebrew, God is doing all these things in order that he may move you into the proper position in order that he may get his bidding done. God is in control of all things. Even though it may seem like, why is all this happening in my life? And people, they'll stand back, and laugh and say all kinds of things about you. But God knows what he's doing. God is getting you positioned to do his bidding. My sisters and brothers, hold on. God has a plan for you. Don't give up. Don't give up. Because I can go back and remember my transition. It was pretty much the same as Joseph. Couldn't figure out what's happening. Why is this? Why is that? Why is this? Why is that? Folks would sit back and laugh. God was moving me here and there. Didn't know that I was called, but knew I was different. See, my brothers and sisters, there are the elect of the Most High, and there are my Hebrew brothers and sisters. But the elect, God has something to do for you. You are a special chosen one in order to do his bidding. And God has to move you. He has to get you in the right position that he may use you his way. And we see here in Joseph saved all of Egypt and also his family. My brothers and sisters, until next time, shalom.